So the first piece of any awakening that people are drawn to, which I understand fully, is that you yourself become known, like a curiosity. You become curious about your own nature, your own self. And that's what a yogi is. A yogi turns their attention within, right? Something that we've been resisting. Most people resist, but that's what we're doing here. So we're turning the attention inwardly, and we have a process. It's not like, oh, it's just this, there's nothing that I can actually do here. It's just a big cacophony of whatever. No, the process in this moment is that we go below, one goes below interpretation of what's happening and allow the sensation. So you have to train yourself to do this over time, because there's a natural kind of repulsion to feeling deeply and feeling sensation, like without a label, because that's like, there you are directly experiencing the reality that's happening within. You want to know how to directly experience reality? Well, do it this way. Directly experience without interpretation. And become adept at that. Practice it. And you want to know how to be here fully. This is one way. To be here fully is that you are here fully willing to directly experience yourself and what's taking place, these little movements within. Isn't that cool? Could never be bored again if you do. Yeah. And then you can just, you keep working at it and keep working at it. And there are times when there'll be too much emotion or feeling or whatever. And just be kind to yourself, you don't force it, but you want to keep practicing until you're like, I can sit here in this storm of all what's arising at times. There may be a storm, because life has its stormy moments. Right? So let's just bring in a little metaphor of a storm. So, there's the ship with a mast, the old-fashioned ships. And you know how they have the mast, and then when there's a storm, how supposedly, like, you could tie yourself up to the mast so you wouldn't you more than whether there's a storm, you're surviving it, right? So what if you were to need to tie yourself up to a mast in a storm? What would be your anchor? What would help you stay, here, solid? Just feel into it for yourself for a moment before I start talking about it. What would be your personal anchor? What sustains you in the storm? And to be honest, I'm not looking for like the perfect spiritual answer here. It's not a koan. And if you don't know, that's being honest too, right? If you don't have one, an anchor or something that orients you, even if one doesn't have like an inner anchor, one could maybe have a pet that one loves, or the love of a family member, or the fact that you love These are really beautiful, very human anchors, right? I mean, if I were to ask some people that I know who are not doing a spiritual kind of conscious out, journey of spirituality, everybody's spiritual, by the way, in their way. They would probably say, if I can think of them, they would probably say the love that I have for my children or for my loved ones is my anchor. Right? So everybody has some kind of anchor, let's hope. But the more that we're journeying within our own being, another kind of anchor can surface besides our love, which is beautiful. And what a gift, what a grace. But right, there's I got distracted by the cute kitty. Let's see, what else is there? There's the heart, but like not the heart of like, I love my kids and this and that, which is beautiful, right? That's kind of an outward leaning movement. But you start pulling it in and go, okay, let's go to the source of that love. Bring it in. Feel your heart. Right here, heart. I love, rather than I love this or that, just simply I love. I love as an anchor. I have love. And maybe there's even, I am love. If you have love, you are love. Right? Because you can't just have something you don't have, that you aren't. So if you have love, you are love. I am love. Isn't that sweet? I am love. So no matter how that ship is being blown around by life and what's taking place, I am love in the midst of it, right? This is what spirituality can bring one and is meant to, is to support us in our lives. In the midst of what's taking place, I can remember at the same time something very nourishing and important, that no matter what happens, I might be scared, I might be worried, but in the midst of it, I am love. Isn't that sweet? And for those who have tapped into the sense of presence inside, like a being, they call it being, which is free of all those concerns, free of this attachment and repulsion, just sort of neutral, this free, what's free inside. If you've tapped into that, you can think of it now. Or if you haven't, you can just kind of sense into it. It's always, now is always a new moment. There's something that's always been here with me my whole life that's been aware while I've been living my life at 2 and 5 and 7 and 10 and 12 and 15 and 18 and 20s and 30s and 40s, whatever age you are, 50s and 60s. Oh my God, time just goes, huh? But what's always been here? I can feel it, even like there's something that's always been aware, always been kind of paying attention, something that's always paying attention and noticing. And when we wake up to that, what they call it, waking up, to that which is eternally always been here, so as long as you have been alive. How about that? you can start tapping into it, like, oh, this is so interesting. There's something that's always been here. And it's like the timeless part within the time. Time is going and marching on, and then there's this timeless part that's always been sort of awake and aware. And some of you are really established in that. You have sensed it, or some of you, it comes and goes. You're awake and aware to it now and then. And others are just, it's a done deal. What does a done deal mean? Like abiding, I call it abiding. Abiding is when co-arising within your life and the everyday reality of your life, everything that's happening, every movement, every sense, every thought, every action. There is an understanding of the eternal and the timeless and the pure, what is not affected. It's unconditioned. It's not conditioned by everything. It's here at the same time, at the touching. This formless and form, they call it in Buddhism, this co-arising of our spirit nature, the spirit and form. Spirit and yourself as you are. It's always free within whatever is taking place. So many ways to open to this. We're not going to go into that today. Well, maybe we are just by talking about it a bit, but so many ways. Part of it is just like this, oh, really? There's something that's always been here. Let me take a look and see. Because it's overlooked, because it's so not noisy. Your presence is just always here, and it doesn't assert itself. So it's so easy to overlook until once it's been seen and felt into, and then maybe permanently felt into. It's always here. You can't you can never overlook it again. That's what they call awakening. And how does it help one's life? Well, it really does, because for those of you who've tapped into it now and then, or it's abiding, how it helps your life. It's that mast, that ship's mast is not only that you love, and that you I would love for you to know that you are love. Since you love, to realize that means that you are loved. But it's another layer of another, like, piece that the divine God intelligence gives us to help us feel oriented here, so we're not so lost, is that we're also, that presence lives within you at all times, and it just needs to be noticed and brought out of hiding. And once you have noticed it, it needs to be kind of like your attention makes it bloom. Your attention helps it come out more, reveals it. It steps into to inhabit you more and more, because of your love for presence, the unconditioned.